The starship Aurora's Dawn glided silently through the glittering expanse of the Zephyrus sector. Inside, a vast space station hovered, its lights twinkling like stars in a sea of black. This station, called Celestis Academy, was a hub of knowledge, where species from countless planets came to learn, exchange ideas, and build the future together. Lyra, a young alien girl from the planet Thalor, stood at the viewport, her large violet eyes reflecting the lights of the station. Her species was known for precision, logic, and emotional control. Showing emotions openly was considered a weakness, a flaw that could bring shame. Lyra had been trained from a young age to keep her feelings hidden, to observe before acting, and to value rules over impulses. Yet, as she gazed at the sprawling station, she could not deny a flutter of nervous curiosity. This would be her first time away from her home world. She was chosen to study among humans, creatures famed for their unpredictability and emotional chaos. "Are you ready, Lyra?" a calm voice asked behind her. She turned to see Commander Solon, a tall Thalorian with silver streaks in his hair. "I am," she replied in her precise, measured tone. "I will adapt quickly. That is why I was sent." Solon nodded. "Remember, the humans are different. Be patient and watch carefully. You may learn more than you expect." Lyra simply nodded. She did not feel nervous. She did not feel fear. At least, she thought she did not. The shuttle docked, and Lyra stepped onto the station for the first time. The air smelled faintly metallic, mixed with the faint scent of alien flora in the atrium. She marveled at the diversity of beings, tall, short, many-limbed, feathered, or scaled, each moving with purpose, each carrying their own stories. As she made her way to her assigned quarters, Lyra could not help noticing the human students. They were loud. They laughed easily, gestured wildly, and spoke in tones that often contradicted their words. She had read about human behavior in reports, but seeing it live was entirely different. Her assigned roommate was named Alex, a human boy with messy brown hair, bright green eyes, and an easy smile that seemed to light up his surroundings. When Lyra entered the small, neatly arranged dorm room, Alex was sitting on the bed nearest the window, fiddling with a small device that emitted colorful lights. "Hi, you must be Lyra," he said, standing quickly. His voice was cheerful, bordering on overenthusiastic. "I've heard about you. Welcome to Celestis Academy." Lyra gave a small nod, her expression neutral. "Greetings, human. I am Lyra of Thalor. I will adhere to the rules of this academy and my species. I expect the same from you." Alex's smile widened, but he did not seem offended. "Of course. Rules are important, but, I like to have a little fun, too. Don't worry, I'll keep it quiet if you need." Lyra blinked, processing the meaning of fun. It was chaotic, unnecessary, and confusing. Yet something about Alex's energy made her feel a faint warmth in her chest, a strange, unfamiliar sensation. She quickly turned away, focusing on unpacking her belongings with precision. That evening, after the first day of orientation, a small notice arrived from the administration. A rooming error. Lyra was supposed to have a private sleeping quarter, but due to a scheduling mistake, she would have to share the sleeping quarters with Alex for the first week. Lyra froze. Sharing a bed, even indirectly, was unimaginable. Her species considered personal space sacred. Sharing sleeping quarters with another being, especially a human, was almost unheard of. Alex, on the other hand, read the notice and grinned. "Well, I guess that means we get to spend more time together. Don't worry, Lyra. I'm not weird. I respect privacy. You'll see. It won't be bad." Lyra tilted her head, uncertain. Respect privacy? How could a human truly respect the boundaries I must keep? Night came, and the small room dimmed under soft, artificial lighting. Alex made his bed on one side, neatly arranging blankets, while Lyra moved slowly, carefully making her own side. She kept every movement deliberate, ensuring nothing overlapped with Alex's space. The first hours were silent. Lyra focused on maintaining control over her thoughts and emotions. She tried to ignore the human warmth that seemed to radiate across the small room. Suddenly, Alex spoke softly. "You know, you don't have to be so tense all the time. It's okay to relax. Humans sleep better when they're comfortable. Maybe you should try it too." Lyra's ears, sensitive and shaped like small fin-like structures, twitched. She looked at him with a slight frown. Relaxation is a human concept. Efficiency requires focus. Sleep is a necessity, not an experience. Alex laughed quietly, the sound gentle and unthreatening. "I get it, but sometimes it's nice to enjoy it, even just a little." Lyra hesitated. "Enjoy sleep?" She had never thought of rest as an experience beyond replenishment. She decided to ignore the suggestion and turned her attention to organizing her belongings. But sleep came slowly that night. Every sound, the soft breathing of the human, the faint hum of the station, kept her alert. And yet she found herself observing him. His movements were fluid, uncalculated, yet purposeful. His breathing was steady, his presence calm. Somehow, this human, whom she expected to be chaotic, felt reassuring. Over the next few days, Lyra began noticing small details about Alex. He always asked before touching her things. He offered a drink or snack without expectation. He laughed quietly at the messes of other students but never judged, and he spoke with honesty and curiosity, traits Lyra found intriguing. One evening, while studying together in their small room, a loud alarm blared across the station. Red lights flashed, and an automated voice announced a minor hull breach in a nearby sector. Panic rippled through the station. Many students froze, unsure what to do. Lyra's instincts kicked in immediately. Her species trained her to respond with logic and efficiency, but humans were not so methodical. Some panicked, others argued, and a few froze entirely. Alex grabbed her arm. "Lyra, we need to help them! Come on!" Together they moved quickly, following emergency protocols. Lyra calculated the best path while Alex assisted the panicking students, calming them with gentle words and clear instructions. His actions were not precise, but they were effective. After the situation was resolved and the breach secured, Lyra realized she felt something unfamiliar. Pride, but also a quiet admiration for the human beside her. Alex, smiling despite the adrenaline, said, "See? We make a good team." Lyra's heart, or what she understood as the center of emotional response, fluttered briefly. She did not understand why this human, chaotic in many ways, made her feel different, safer, calmer, more aware. That night, lying in her side of the room, Lyra found sleep elusive. The human next to her was silent, yet his presence was comforting rather than intrusive. She realized that she had begun to notice him in ways she never expected. A strange warmth, an unfamiliar feeling, a shift in her thoughts that made her wonder about humans in ways she had never allowed before. For the first time in her life, away from Thalor, Lyra questioned what it meant to be close to another being. She wondered if perhaps humans were more than chaotic, unpredictable creatures. Perhaps, she thought quietly, they could teach her something important, something about connection, trust, and even feelings. As the lights of Celestis Academy dimmed for the night, the vast stars outside the viewport shone like diamonds, silent witnesses to a friendship that had just begun, one that would change both their lives in ways neither could yet imagine. And for the first time, sharing a space, even a bed with a human, felt not frightening, but intriguing. The following morning, the station buzzed with activity. Celestis Academy was alive with students hurrying to classes, instructors giving orders, and the low hum of engines that kept the station suspended in space. Lyra, still adjusting to her new surroundings, walked beside Alex through the corridors. Alex had a casual stride, relaxed and effortless, while Lyra's movements were precise, careful, almost mechanical. She noticed the difference immediately. Humans move differently, sometimes clumsily, sometimes gracefully, but always with unpredictability. She tried to ignore it, but her attention kept drifting to him. "You're awfully quiet today," Alex said, glancing at her with a friendly grin. "Don't tell me you didn't sleep well." Lyra considered him carefully. Sleep had been better than the previous night, though her mind was still alert. Sleep was sufficient. Efficiency requires alertness, but rest was adequate. Alex chuckled. Adequate? That's a very human way of putting it. Lyra blinked. It is not human. It is factual. Facts are universal. Alex smiled and shook his head. I like that about you. You're direct, honest, no hidden meanings. It's refreshing. Lyra's ears twitched slightly. Refreshing. She did not fully understand the word, but she sensed it was positive. Their first class of the day was an introduction to interstellar diplomacy, a subject designed to teach students about cooperation across species. Lyra excelled immediately, answering questions with perfect logic and detail. Humans, in contrast, often hesitated, relying on intuition rather than pure calculation. During a break, Lyra and Alex sat in the Academy's cafeteria. The room smelled of a mix of alien foods, spices from Thaler, grains from Veralia, and a faint aroma of something she had never encountered before, human cooking. "You should try this," Alex said, holding out a small, round pastry. "It's a human snack, sweet but good for energy." Lyra inspected it cautiously. She had been taught to analyze food for nutrients and efficiency. Taste was secondary, almost irrelevant. But something about the way Alex offered it, with a smile without expectation, made her hesitate. "Very well," she said after a moment. She took a small bite. Sweetness flooded her senses in a way she had not anticipated. It was pleasant. She blinked. "It is enjoyable." Alex's grin widened. "See? Humans aren't all chaos and mistakes. Some things we do are fun." Lyra frowned slightly, unfamiliar with the idea of fun. She had studied the concept in texts, but now she was experiencing it firsthand. Perhaps there was more to humans than logic and unpredictability. That night, back in their shared quarters, Lyra noticed how Alex moved naturally around the room, adjusting his bed, tidying his desk, and placing a small lamp where it could illuminate her side as well. He seemed to think of her comfort without being asked. "You're very considerate," she said quietly, almost a statement to herself. Alex smiled. "I try. It makes living together easier, don't you think?" Lyra did not answer immediately. She did not often receive consideration for her feelings. There were rules, orders, expectations, but no one had ever thought about her comfort. She found the feeling curious. The following days became a routine. Lyra observed Alex closely, noting the ways humans adapted, improvised, and cared for one another. He was inconsistent at times, messy in others, but he was reliable when it mattered. One evening, while studying together, Lyra noticed a small device on Alex's desk, a holographic puzzle that he had been working on. She watched silently as he struggled, then tried a few moves, hesitated, and finally smiled triumphantly. "Humans love these puzzles," Alex said, noticing her gaze. "It's fun. It teaches patience and creativity." Lyra tilted her head. "I do not understand the necessity. Efficiency could solve it faster than trial and error." Alex laughed softly. "Maybe, but that's not always the point. Sometimes the process matters more than the result. You should try it." She considered his words. Sometimes the process matters more than the result. The idea was foreign. Lyra had been taught that efficiency was everything, that results were the only measure of value. Yet watching him, seeing the joy in his expression, she felt something stirring inside her. That night, as they prepared for sleep, Lyra found herself reluctant to retreat to her side of the room. Alex noticed her hesitation. "Are you thinking about the puzzle?" he asked. Lyra paused. "Perhaps. I am considering the process, as you suggested." Alex's smile was warm. "Good. Don't worry. I won't interfere. You can take your time." For the first time, Lyra felt a sense of trust. She did not need to hide her thoughts or guard her emotions. She could experiment, explore, and even fail without judgment. Over the next few days, they began small routines together. Alex would offer her snacks during study sessions. She would share observations about her species and their customs. They discovered mutual curiosity about technology, science, and even the mundane quirks of life on the station. Lyra was surprised by how much she enjoyed their conversations. She laughed quietly at Alex's stories of human childhood, stories full of mistakes, accidents, and small triumphs. She observed how humans learned from failure, a concept almost alien to her species. On Thalor, mistakes were avoided at all costs. Here she saw that mistakes could be lessons, and lessons could bring joy. One evening, while adjusting the room's small lighting panel, Lyra accidentally triggered a minor malfunction. The lights flickered, then dimmed. She froze, unsure what to do. Alex stepped forward calmly. "It's okay. I'll help. Don't worry." Together they worked to fix the panel. Alex guided her gently, explaining what to do, while she followed his instructions with precision. The lights finally stabilized, bathing the room in a soft, steady glow. Lyra exhaled. "Your method is effective." Alex smiled. "Thanks. But you did most of it. You're very capable." That simple praise caused a ripple of warmth in Lyra's chest. She was not used to recognition for her efforts, especially not from someone she initially considered unpredictable. Later that night, as they lay in their respective beds, Lyra found her mind wandering. She realized she looked forward to these small interactions. She anticipated Alex's humor, his guidance, his presence. Something inside her was shifting, slowly, subtly, but undeniably. Humans, she thought, were strange creatures. They were chaotic, emotional, and often illogical. Yet they had a warmth, a resilience, and a capacity for care that she had never experienced before. And Alex embodied all of it. The bond between them deepened further when the Academy organized a group exercise, a simulation of interstellar conflict requiring teams of humans and aliens to cooperate under pressure. Lyra and Alex were placed on the same team. Initially, their teams struggled. Some members argued, others froze, and miscommunication threatened to ruin the exercise. Lyra's logical planning clashed with human improvisation. She wanted structure, they wanted spontaneity. Alex stepped in, guiding their teammates with a calm, encouraging tone. "We need to trust each other. Follow my lead, but don't be afraid to try your ideas. We'll combine both methods." Lyra observed him, then adjusted her plan. Instead of enforcing rigid steps, she allowed for flexibility, combining logic with improvisation. The team succeeded. Their performance impressed the instructors, earning praise from both human and alien mentors. Afterward, Lyra turned to Alex. "Your approach yielded results. Despite initial inefficiency, your guidance improved performance." Alex laughed softly. "Sometimes efficiency isn't about speed, it's about teamwork. And we work best together, don't we?" Lyra's ears twitched. The idea resonated. Together, she felt a faint warmth at the thought of cooperation, not just as strategy, but as connection. That night, their conversations in the room lasted longer. Alex shared stories of Earth, the vibrant blue planet full of oceans, forests, and cities bustling with life. Lyra shared her experiences from Thalor, the serene purple skies, the rituals of her people, the precision in every task. They discovered differences and similarities. Both valued knowledge, both sought understanding, and both, in their own ways, appreciated companionship. When Lyra finally lay down to sleep, she realized that sharing a room and a life, however small, with a human had begun to change her. She no longer viewed him as unpredictable chaos. She saw him as a partner, a guide, and a friend. Her mind, once focused solely on efficiency and logic, now entertained thoughts of empathy, trust, and even curiosity about emotions she had never allowed herself to feel. For the first time, Lyra understood that humans, in all their imperfection, had a strength her people often lacked: the ability to connect, to care, and to inspire change in others simply by being themselves. And lying there, with Alex quietly arranging his things across the room, she thought, "Perhaps I am beginning to understand them, and perhaps I am beginning to understand myself too." Days turned into weeks at Celestis Academy, and Lyra began to notice subtle changes in herself. Sharing a room and even a bed with Alex had begun to reshape not only her routines, but also her understanding of connection, trust, and emotions. At first, Lyra had been cautious. She maintained a careful distance, her movements precise, her expressions measured. Yet Alex's constant warmth, patience, and reliability had gradually chipped away at her defenses. Even when she tried to retreat into logic and order, she found herself thinking of him, not just as a human she needed to tolerate, but as a companion whose presence brought a strange, comforting feeling she could not name. One morning, as the artificial sun of the station rose in a soft orange glow, Alex called out from his side of the room, "Hey, Lyra! Breakfast's ready. I made some human-style eggs and toast. I figured you might want to try them." Lyra approached the small table cautiously. The smell was unfamiliar but inviting. "You prepared this for both of us?" she asked. Alex grinned. "Of course. I thought we could share. It's nice to start the day together." Lyra studied him. In her culture, meals were rarely shared in this intimate, voluntary way. Food was fuel, a necessity, not an act of connection. Yet watching Alex set two plates carefully, and noticing the quiet care in his eyes, she felt an unfamiliar tug at her chest. She nodded slowly. "Then, I will partake." As they ate, Lyra realized she was enjoying herself in a way that had nothing to do with nutrition. Alex spoke casually about his past adventures, his human friends on Earth, and funny incidents from training exercises. Lyra listened, sometimes smiling, sometimes laughing quietly. Her chest felt lighter, her mind less tense. She realized that she no longer feared being open around him. After breakfast, they headed to their joint training session, a physical and mental exercise designed to test teamwork between different species. Lyra had always been strong and agile, her species training rigorous and exacting. Humans, she had assumed, would be slow or clumsy. Yet Alex moved with surprising efficiency, combining flexibility with instinct. During the exercise, a sudden obstacle appeared, a simulated emergency requiring split-second decisions. Lyra instinctively began calculating probabilities and outcomes, ready to direct their team. But Alex didn't hesitate. He reacted immediately, guiding the other students with calm authority. Lyra found herself following his lead without question, allowing his intuition to complement her logic. Together, they overcame the challenge, impressing the instructors. Lyra realized that relying on someone else, especially a human, did not weaken her. It strengthened her. Later, in the quiet of their room, Lyra reflected on the day. Alex was brushing his hair when he spoke casually. You know, Lyra, you're amazing. You're smart, strong, and kind. I'm glad we're roommates. Sharing this space with you has made this place feel like home. Lyra's ears twitched. Kind. The word had emotional weight. She was only beginning to understand. I appreciate your statement, she replied carefully. Your actions have influenced my perception of humans positively. Alex smiled. Well, I'm glad to hear that. But it's more than that, right? You've changed too, haven't you? Lyra considered him silently. Could she admit it? She had begun to notice her emotions, her curiosity, even her enjoyment of small human-like pleasures. Perhaps. I am beginning to understand more than I expected, she admitted softly. That night, as they prepared for sleep, Lyra hesitated before lying down. Alex noticed her pause. Something on your mind? He asked gently. I am considering the value of trust, she said slowly. I did not realize it could be comforting. Alex nodded. Trust is one of the best feelings. It lets you be yourself, without fear. For the first time, Lyra allowed herself to feel that trust fully. She closed her eyes, letting the warmth of the room and Alex's presence fill her senses. Sleep came easier that night, deeper and more peaceful than ever before. The following days brought small but meaningful rituals. Alex would leave small notes for her, reminders of events, or little jokes to make her laugh. Lyra, initially unsure how to respond, began leaving responses of her own. At first, they were logical and direct, but gradually they became more personal, little acknowledgments of her growing fondness for him. One afternoon, the Academy organized a cultural exchange event. Students were paired with individuals from other species to share aspects of their homeworlds. Lyra had been nervous. Her species was private, and revealing personal traditions was rare. Yet Alex encouraged her with gentle words. You can share what you want, he said. No one is judging. It's about learning from each other. Lyra hesitated, then decided to open up. She demonstrated a simple Thalorian meditation ritual, explaining the meaning of each gesture and sound. The other students watched with fascination. Alex observed quietly beside her, his smile encouraging. When she finished, he clapped softly. That was incredible. Thank you for sharing it with us. Lyra felt a rush of warmth. She had exposed a part of herself, and it had been received with respect and curiosity. She realized she no longer feared openness. Humans had taught her that sharing could bring connection, not vulnerability. That evening, Alex suggested they take a walk in the observation deck. The station's vast windows revealed the swirling beauty of nebulae, distant stars, and passing ships. Lyra walked beside him, absorbing the sight, the sounds, and the presence of her human companion. You're quiet tonight, Alex remarked. Thinking about the nebula? Lyra nodded. It is beautiful. I am contemplating the vastness of space, the impermanence of individual life, and the meaning of cooperation across species. Alex laughed softly. Wow, you really think about everything. I just like the view. But you're right, it's amazing. And it's nicer sharing it with someone else. Lyra paused, then allowed herself a small smile. I agree. Your presence enhances the experience. Alex grinned. Good. I like being here with you too. That night, as they lay down, the room quiet and calm, Lyra reflected on the transformation occurring within her. Her species prized logic above all else, but she had begun to value something else: connection, empathy, trust, and even joy. These were not weaknesses. They were strengths. A few days later, a minor station-wide emergency tested their bond once again. A sudden hull breach simulation required students to act quickly to secure compartments and rescue stranded individuals. Lyra and Alex were paired together, as always. Lyra's instinct was to calculate precise steps, issue commands, and maintain order. Alex, as usual, reacted instinctively, guiding their teammates and improvising solutions on the fly. Lyra realized that following his lead, instead of resisting it, allowed them to complete the task more efficiently. When the exercise concluded, Lyra felt something she could not name: pride, satisfaction, and a quiet joy in their shared success. Alex turned to her, smiling brightly. "See? We make a great team. I couldn't have done it without you." "You inspire confidence," Lyra admitted softly. "Not only in yourself, but in me. Your actions teach me trust and cooperation in ways I did not expect." Alex's eyes softened. "That's the best compliment anyone could give me. Thank you." That night, lying in her side of the room, Lyra considered the journey she had taken. She had come to the academy expecting to observe humans, to maintain her own discipline, and to keep her emotions controlled. Yet, sharing a room and a bed with Alex had changed her. She laughed more freely, felt more curiosity, and even allowed herself to care deeply about another being. She realized something profound. Humans were not chaotic flaws in the universe. They were teachers in their own right. They inspired growth through empathy, connection, and openness. And Alex in particular had taught her that sharing life, even in small ways, was not a weakness, but a path to strength. As she drifted into sleep, Lyra felt a sense of peace she had never known before. She trusted Alex completely, not just in emergencies, not just in daily life, but in the quiet moments when the world seemed still. And for the first time, she looked forward to the next day, to the next conversation, and to the next shared experience with the human who had quietly changed her world. The days at Celestis Academy continued to flow, each one a blend of study, training, and quiet moments of connection. Lyra had changed. The precise, controlled girl who had first arrived on the station now smiled more freely, laughed without hesitation, and allowed herself to feel curiosity, joy, and even warmth for another being. Her relationship with Alex had deepened beyond simple friendship. They were companions, partners in thought and action, and, though neither had said it aloud, a source of comfort and strength for each other. Sharing a bed, once unthinkable and uncomfortable, had become a part of life, a space where trust and understanding grew quietly but steadily. One morning, a message arrived from the Academy leadership. A joint exercise was planned for all species, a simulation of interstellar conflict combined with resource management and diplomacy. Teams would be judged not only on efficiency, but also on cooperation, empathy, and adaptability. Lyra read the instructions carefully. It was the perfect opportunity to test what she had learned, not just about humans, but about herself. Alex, reading over her shoulder, nudged her gently. "Looks intense," he said, "but I think we're ready. Together." Lyra considered him. "Together," she echoed, allowing a small smile to touch her lips. She felt a confidence she had never known before, a belief that combining human spontaneity with Thalorian logic could achieve remarkable outcomes. The simulation began. Their team faced a complex scenario. Several colonies were in danger, resources were limited, and time was critical. Lyra immediately began analyzing possibilities, calculating the fastest routes and the most efficient methods to stabilize each colony. Alex, as usual, took a different approach. He moved quickly to assess morale, comfort, and communication among the team, encouraging cooperation and adaptability. At first, Lyra struggled to let go of strict control. She wanted order, precision, and predictable results. But then she saw Alex's approach working. Students who had been hesitant or fearful were stepping forward, sharing ideas, and collaborating with surprising creativity. She adjusted her method. Instead of dictating steps, she suggested options, allowing the team to choose. She trusted their judgment and Alex's instincts. Slowly, the simulation began to turn in their favor. By the end, their team had successfully stabilized the colonies, managed resources efficiently, and maintained strong morale. The instructors were impressed. Humans and aliens alike applauded the seamless cooperation. Lyra felt a surge of pride, not just in herself, but in the bonds they had created. After the simulation, Alex turned to her, his eyes bright. "You were amazing today. You adapted, led, and still stayed calm. You're incredible." Lyra paused, thinking carefully. "I have learned much from your species. Your methods, though initially unpredictable, inspired confidence and cooperation. I am grateful for your guidance and presence." Alex smiled warmly. "Grateful, huh? That's a human thing to say, but it's nice hearing it from you." Lyra tilted her head. "Gratitude is universal. I have come to understand it." The following days brought quieter moments, but no less significant. Lyra and Alex spent evenings discussing the simulation, sharing ideas for improvement, or simply observing the stars from their window. Lyra began teaching Alex about Thalorian culture, the importance of meditation, ritual, and precision, while he showed her human hobbies, humor, and the joy in small, unexpected moments. One evening, Alex suggested a small experiment. "I thought we could do a night under the stars," he said. "Outside, where the lights are off, and it's just us and the universe." Lyra hesitated. Being outside on a station platform was safe, but exposing herself emotionally to this unstructured moment was unusual. Yet, she agreed. They stepped onto the observation deck. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly, glittering with distant suns and nebulae. Lyra was silent, taking in the beauty, her thoughts quieting in the presence of infinity. Alex sat beside her, pointing out constellations, planets, and passing ships. "See that? That's Varelia's trade convoy, and over there, that cluster of stars looks like your Thalorian sky, doesn't it?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, it is, familiar yet distant. Observing it from here provides perspective and clarity." Alex smiled. "Clarity is good, but sometimes clarity comes with emotion. It's okay to feel amazed or small or whatever you feel." Lyra's ears twitched. Emotion? She had begun to understand it, but naming it remained difficult. "I feel curiosity and perhaps admiration, and something else. Warmth." Alex turned to her. "Warmth is good. It means you're connecting. That's what humans call bonding. You and I, we're bonding." Lyra considered the word, bonding. It was precise in meaning, yet vast in implication. She realized she trusted him completely, not only in emergencies or daily tasks, but in the quiet moments where they simply existed together. As they returned to their room, Lyra felt a sense of contentment she had never known. Sharing space, sharing routines, and sharing trust with a human had not weakened her. It had strengthened her, made her more adaptable, more empathetic, and more capable of connection. Over the next week, Lyra's transformation became noticeable to others. In classes, she laughed more readily. In training, she worked seamlessly with students from different species. Even her instructors remarked on the subtle change. The precise, distant girl from Thalor had become a leader, respected not only for her intelligence but for her capacity to understand and inspire others. One afternoon, while cleaning their room, Alex handed her a small, folded note. Lyra opened it carefully. It read, "Thank you for sharing this space with me. You've changed my view of humans and life. I hope we continue to learn from each other." Lyra's eyes softened. She could feel the depth of the message, not just words, but intent and sincerity. Carefully, she wrote a response on a similar note. "Your presence has altered my perception of humans. You have taught me trust, empathy, and the value of companionship. I am grateful to share life, even in small ways, with you. Alex read it later and smiled. You're amazing, he said softly. I didn't know notes could carry so much meaning. I'm glad we're together in this. Night fell, and as they lay down to sleep, Lyra realized how far she had come. She no longer saw humans as chaotic or unpredictable in a negative sense. She understood that their spontaneity, emotional openness, and willingness to care for others were strengths. Alex had shown her that connection was not weakness. It was a powerful force that could inspire growth, trust, and courage. A few days later, the Academy announced a ceremonial event honoring students who had shown exceptional cooperation across species. Lyra and Alex were recognized together. In front of the gathered students and instructors, the announcement praised their teamwork, trust, and adaptability. Lyra felt a quiet pride, but more importantly, she felt deep gratitude for the human who had guided her through this transformation. After the ceremony, as the crowd dispersed, Alex leaned toward her. I think we've come a long way, he said softly. From strangers sharing a room, to partners who trust each other completely. Lyra nodded. Indeed, sharing a bed, a room, and daily life has changed me in ways I did not expect. I am better for it, stronger, calmer, and more aware. Alex smiled, reaching out to brush a strand of hair from her face. And I've learned a lot from you too. Your focus, your clarity, your ability to stay calm in any situation. You make me want to be better too. Lyra's heart, or what she understood as the center of her emotional awareness, fluttered. She felt a surge of warmth, trust, and connection, unlike anything she had experienced before. I feel the same, she admitted quietly. As they lay down to sleep side by side, Lyra realized that sharing a life with a human had not only taught her about humans, it had taught her about herself. She had discovered that emotions, trust, and companionship were not weaknesses, but strengths. She had learned that openness and understanding could enhance intelligence, precision, and courage. And as the stars twinkled beyond the station's observation windows, Lyra smiled. She no longer feared connection, spontaneity, or emotion. She had grown, transformed, and thrived. Sharing a bed with a human had changed her, not only in daily habits but in heart, mind, and spirit. The journey was not over. Together, she and Alex would continue to explore the Academy, the stars, and themselves. But one truth was clear: humans, with all their unpredictability, chaos, and warmth, could inspire greatness in others. And through that inspiration, even an alien girl from Thalor could become more than she had ever imagined. Lyra closed her eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the steady presence of the human beside her. She understood now that life was not just about rules, logic, or efficiency. It was about connection, trust, and growth. And in sharing her life, even her bed with Alex, she had discovered the extraordinary potential of human companionship. In the quiet darkness, with the stars watching silently, Lyra felt complete. Not because her routines were perfect, not because her calculations were flawless, but because she had learned the power of openness, empathy, and love. The universe stretched endlessly before them, vast and mysterious. Yet in that small room, with a human by her side, Lyra understood one simple truth. Connection could change everything, and it had changed her.